I'm Neil, and I'm the teacher.
And I'm Sean, and I'm the deal maker.
Together,
we're the Rise Guys.
Two office towers, same street, same size. One is worth double the other. Why? A single letter grade most people never notice. Today, I will show you how commercial buildings are graded and what that grade is really worth. Let's dive in. Let me start with a picture. Imagine two office towers on the very same street, same height, same square footage, built in roughly the same era. One of them commands premium rents and stays full. The other struggles to keep tenants and sells for half as much. Now, here's the question that trips up new agents. Why the gap? It is not the size. It is not even the address, because they share the same street. The difference is class. In commercial real estate, every building carries a grade, and that grade is not about how big it is. It is about location quality, amenities, condition, upkeep, and prestige. That single letter follows the building for its entire life, and it quietly decides what the property is worth. So today, let us learn how to read it. Before we grade anything, you need to know the four engines that drive commercial real estate. First, office. That is space for business, professional services, and the people who work in them. Second, retail, where customers shop, eat, and gather. Third, industrial, the buildings where things get made, stored, and shipped. And fourth, multifamily residential, which in the commercial world means a building of more than 4 units. Now, here is the key idea to carry into your exam. These sectors are not defined by their walls or their looks. They are defined by their value and their utility. In other words, by what the property can actually do and earn. Get that framing right, and everything else falls into place. Now, to the grade itself, office buildings are sorted into 3 classes. Class A is the premium tier. These are the well-maintained, high-amenity buildings in the best locations, the ones that attract the top tenants. Class B is functional and solid, good mid-market quality, dependable but not flashy. Class C is the older stock, the below-market spaces that rent for less and show their age. And here's the part that students get wrong on the exam. These classifications are based on location and amenities, not on the size of the asset. A small, beautifully appointed building in a prime spot can be Class A. A giant tired tower in a weak location can be Class C. So think of the grade as a promise about the experience a tenant gets, not a measure of how many floors it has. Once you know the sectors, you can often read a building's job right off its design. Walk into an industrial box and look up. You will typically see floor-to-ceiling heights of 30 to 36 feet. Built for racking and stacking product high. And the floors are engineered to carry heavy loads because serious machinery lives there. And the loading docks are configured for fast movement of goods because logistics is the whole point. Retail is measured differently. It is categorized by scale, by location, and by customer draw. In other words, how many shoppers it can pull in. A useful benchmark to remember is parking. Retail typically needs about 4 parking stalls for every 1,000 square feet of leasable space. Visibility from the road and steady foot traffic are what set the value. Form is following function, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let us talk about the 4th sector, multifamily, because it is changing fast. If you compare a new apartment building to one from 10 years ago, the product is different. The market is shifting toward higher density, which means more doors packed into each building. Units are getting smaller, and buildings are being designed with fewer parking spaces. So what is driving all of that? 2 big forces. First, tighter mortgage rules make it harder for people to buy, which pushes more of them into renting. Second, the rising cost per square foot in urban markets. When land and construction get expensive, developers chase efficiency on every single floor. More units, smaller footprints, less parking. It is not random. It is the market responding to real economic pressure. So let me tie this all together with the single idea that runs underneath everything we covered. In commercial real estate, every building is essentially an engineered machine, and its grade tells you what job it can actually do. Value follows function, not appearance. That is why a smaller, sharper building can outrank a bigger, tired one. Here is your takeaway. When you look at a commercial property, read the class before you read the price, because the class explains the price. Match the asset to the tenant it is built to serve. And on your exam, do not just memorize the letters, understand what each grade actually promises and why location and amenities. Decide it, nail that, and commercial classification becomes one of the easiest marks on the test. That is the show for this week. I will see you in the next one. New webinar summary every week. Subscribe so you never miss one.